Back to another look at the card. Today we're going to look a bit at some of that bellator. Not really much of that bellator card that happened today. With Nimkov Romero Pettis Pitbull. I was the whole thing with Bellator. I didn't really catch much of it, to be honest, other than the Romero Nimkov. But um I was in and out of the Pitbull Pettis fight. Pitbull got shooken up in the second, and from there, I was like, fight looking like it's gonna be done with. Other than that, with the Nimkov fight, it was looking like just for a bit that Nimkov had old boy Romero shook, but nobody shakes up Romero, as in nobody's ever knocked him out, because man isn't human, and that didn't happen either. He didn't get knocked out or nothing. Um, but he was doing like some drunken master style after the second or the third. I forget what round it was, but after the second round, he started doing some drunken master style of fighting, which was pretty funny. But it actually, I feel like it started helping him out, which is freaking weird. But yeah, that was pretty much all I got from that fight, from or just the whole Bellator card. There was another fight I caught, but I forgot who the fighters were and all, and I caught it earlier on, but that was pretty much all for that. They got another card coming up with the other Beatbo brother, and who's the other person he's fighting? Oh, AJ McKee. How can you forget AJ McKee? So you got both of them fighting. See what the date on that one is. Oh, it's actually the Ryzen versus which is weird. You would think it'd be, the main event would be a Ryzen fighter versus a Bellator fighter, but it's not. It's July 29th. I believe that's the Spence Butt Crawford fight, which not a good date. I believe there's also a UFC event that day. I'm not exactly sure which one. I could look that up real quick. 29, June 24th, 29th. July, August 9th. Okay, yeah, 29. It's actually a really big card that day. It's Dustin versus Justin. The BMF title is going to be on the line that day. Plus, Jan versus Alex Pereira. So, a lot of big fights that day, including the Bud Crawford fight. So, for us fight fans, should be interesting. Right. All right, let's get into some of the UFC. Mishigama. Oh, actually, one other thing about Nimkov. Nimkov is a freaking beast, by the way. I believe that was my first time watching him fight. I believe not 100, but there's a chance I've already watched. He's also lost to Jiri Prohaska. Not sure what division. Let me see if I can find which division that was in. But obviously, Nimkov is fighting in the freaking middleweight division. Let's see if he's still in the. No, not seeing it. Unanimous. It's actually not showing what division they fought in. What is this? Sherdog. I've never heard about. But that's a website where the records show. Let's see. ESPN has it too. Let's see if ESPN can help me out. Not really light heavyweights. Not really seeing much there either. But either way, they've fought before, so that's a big thing, I guess. If what if one day he ends up coming to UFC? That could be a big fight if Yuri still has the title after fighting Jamal Sweet Dream Hill. That's actually one other big thing that happened. A lot of things happened in the UFC world this week. I mean, so many that I don't know if I'll cover every single one of them because I'm only planning on being 15 minutes and then you get but John Jones and who else was it? John Jones and Francis Ngannou were at PFL today, and they were what the hell they? Oh yeah, they were pretty much they kind of faced off today, which was kind of cool seeing that. pretty much John saying, I don't know, Francis was saying I'm the king and this and that, and Johns was saying a whole bunch of other stuff. And what other news? Oh, Sterling, Aljamain Sterling, Mandem said he's going to be dropping his belt after this next fight, which is against Sugar Sean Show O'Malley. So if that happens, we're most likely going to get Marab versus somebody. And if UFC wants it their way, I don't know if they're going to give the title shot again to. Oh, actually, I know what would happen. It would be Corey Sandhagen versus. Actually, the winner of Corey Sandhagen could get it. Corey Sandhagen versus. That was also another breaking news. Corey Sandhagen versus the other Magomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov. That was also big news right there. That one's where was this scheduled for? No, oh yeah, another one. Man, so much big news this week, or yeah, just this whole week. We had the Korean Zombie versus Max Holloway. That one's scheduled for Singapore. So we got that. So Islam versus Charles Oliver. 100%. It sounds like it's gonna happen, but it's the UFC. Who the hell knows? One of them gets an injury. That's gonna be it. But that's all the way until October, and I don't know what the hell's gonna happen with the UFC. It's all over the place. Then again, we've also heard that Alexander Volkanovski, the Aussieman, might get the rematch if he wins his fight against Rodriguez, which could possibly happen. I don't know. We've seen crazy shit where the champion who's so damn dominant, AW Nitara, which could, like I said, could fucking happen. But then again, oh yeah, so I don't know what happens there. So Marab could face Corey Sandhagen or Umar Nurmagomedov. I don't know if they're gonna right away give him that title shot after one win against a top guy. I forget if Umar has faced another top guy, but I mean, he probably has. I don't know. Any other news in fighting wise? I don't know. I'm not thinking of anything right now, other than Yuri coming back. Yuri versus Jamal Sweet Dream Hill. But then again, Sweet Dream also said he doesn't really care who he has to face. He's just ready to pretty much defend his title because he's been having it for a hot minute, and he hasn't defended that title at all. So we're probably going to be seeing that happen. August. Let me go to the. Got to check out what's happening tomorrow, which it's Jared Cannonier versus Marvin Vettori. A weird fight. It's a fight between the gatekeepers of the division. Almost, I don't know who else are or is or actually Robert Whitaker is probably the gatekeeper because he's been kind of holding that spot down for a hot minute. He's been number one in the middleweight division as the guy, the number two guy, pretty much. Actually, number one guy because the champ is out. The champ is not the number one, or the champ is the champ. That if that makes sense. The number one guy is the number one contender. But yeah, so he's actually been the number one guy. Even though right now it actually says Alex Pereira is the number one in the middleweight division. Alex Pereira doesn't even fight in the middleweight division, so they need to kick him out that fucking list and put Robert back into that number one spot. Robert versus Dricus Duplessis obviously is happening one of these days or one of these months. I'm not sure if it's in that Aussie card or whatever, but oh yeah, back to the fight night that's happening. I'll tell you tomorrow. Jared Cannonier versus Marvin Vettori. Both guys probably hoping that, oh boy, Usman Adesanya somehow, some way, ends up losing to one of these guys, so that way they get themselves a chance at that middleweight title. Because I believe Marvin Vettori's faced Adesanya twice, and Jared's faced him once, maybe twice. Oh, Jared's faced him once. It was a while back, but it's been only about a year, so I don't see that, him getting a title shot unless he wipes out the division and somehow, some way finds a way to beat, oh boy, Robert. Did I call him Robert Covington? Freaking Robert Whitaker. But yeah, So if he can find a way to, maybe get that match, but Robert Whitaker is actually after this fight, I believe they said he's guaranteed a shot at the title if he can beat Dricus Duplessis, which I don't know. Dricus is a weird fighter. Like he takes a lot of fucking risks, and if he decides, if he's trying to strategize and the strategizing doesn't work or his strategy doesn't work, then it's most likely out the window because the majority of Dricus Duplessis fights have been like that, where the strategy don't work. I'm going in for the kill, and he finds a way to finish the fight. Because against Brunson, he wasn't killing it, but at the same time, Brunson wasn't giving him much of a fight. I thought it'd be better than that, but it wasn't. Um, so he doesn't have to face any of the super top guys that before he gets that title shot, which makes sense. Most people probably thought that Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Duplessis should have already happened because it's right there, and Israel's already fought everybody. I mean, from one to actually other than Sean Strickland, which I'm not surprised they're not making that fight. I know he's coming off of actually Strickland's coming off of a win. I believe he's coming off of a win. Oh no, he actually I believe lost to Jared Cannonier, who is facing oh boy Robert Whitaker. I'm not 100, but I believe that's what that was his last fight. I can look that up real quick. Let's see what he did or what happened with that situation. Yeah, it was a unanimous. I don't know if it was unanimous, but it was a decision win. Pretty boring fight to tell you the truth. Oh yeah, okay. So Sean Strickland did beat Nazardine Imanov. What was it? January 14th. That was pretty much by decision too. That was another 5 round fight. I believe it was a little smarter fighting from old boy Israel Adesanya. Okay, let's back to the Friday night card. I don't know if there's any other good fights in that. There probably is. I just need to look up the schedule real quick. All right, I'm not seeing it yet. Damn, there's probably other news that I could be talking about, but I'd have to look up the news feed real quick. Okay, Aubrey. Well, someday we'll look up one of your videos or whatever the hell your videos are. I'm talking about UFC right now. I don't think it matters to your your singing videos. Um, oh yeah, Arman Sarukian. How could I forget Arman Sarukian versus Joaquin Silva? I don't think I've actually watched Silva fight. Then there's Petrosian who's fighting as well. Guess you didn't like what I had to say, Aubrey. That's why you left. um, Sabatini's fighting. Lucas Almeida's fighting. A lot of these guys I haven't watched fight in a hot minute, so I don't really have too much of an opinion on any of these dudes. It's one of those situations where they're not the greatest fights, but they're still good fights. Then you got Josh Emmett, Ili Topuria, pretty good fight coming up. Featherweight division, obviously. Main event. Hopefully the main event. Usually, a lot of times when these fights are 5 rounds, sometimes it just ruins it. So hopefully the 5 rounds doesn't ruin the fucking fight, which a lot of times it does. Like I tell you, 3 rounders are my favorite type of fights. Only one fight that it was a 5 rounder that I mean, there's a lot of good 5 round fights. It's just I feel like it ruins it. Other than Charles Oliveira, he's the only one that could save a 5 round fight. But that's my opinion, and I guess not everybody's gonna agree with that shit. But that's how it is sometimes. Other than that, let me see if there's any other news that I'm forgetting. I'm sure there's a lot of shit that I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski also got that promotion or sponsorship from Prime, which I guess is a cool thing. And another thing about Johnny Bones Jones, I guess the UFC did put out, or they gave an offer to Tyson Fury because he's obviously not accepting any fights from the boxing scene, so he has to deal with the UFC right now. I guess they've offered him a fight, which is a mix or a hybrid, which one in MMA, one in boxing, which I don't know if he's going to accept or not, but same thing with the other side. PFL has offered the same deal to Deontay Wilder. I actually want to see both, but everybody originally wanted to see. Oh, there goes the alarm. But originally, everybody wanted to see Jones versus or Francis Ngannou versus Fury. Now it's a whole bunch of mess with different heavyweights being involved in this situation, and who knows what's gonna happen. But most people think it's gonna be Usyk versus Fury. Just Usyk's getting paid by the Saudis with that oil money. So he's gonna get him. I don't know if he's gonna. They're gonna make sure that the fight happens. I remember they were talking about how there's gonna be a big, big boxing event with all the heavyweights, the top heavyweights fighting. I didn't really read too deep into the article, but yeah, I guess that was gonna happen or something. And the with Saudi Arabian money, they can pull that shit off. Money talks. So, but yeah, they didn't. I guess nothing. I haven't heard much from that other than the fact that what's his name? Usyk is getting paid by the Saudis. Other news, everything is pretty much about Tyson right now. It's showing up that UFC wise, but there was so much other stuff that happened. I just pretty much throughout the week have forgotten all about it. Oh, and Chris Curtis obviously had that incident where he got headbutted, and he's saying he's going to need 60 days, or they've told him it's 60 days, and then his next fight. What did he say? So pretty much after 60 days, I believe he said earliest is August something. He wants to get back into the ring, which I don't mind seeing. Since Chris Curtis is one of my favorite fighters, it's just a lot of times he's been scheduled with some of these wrestlers, and this time it wasn't really like that. Was it Nimka? Was it the same guy who fought Strickland? Yeah, it was Nazardine Nimkov who fought him as well. That was well. This fight was a no contest, but to be honest, Nimkov was getting Imanov, Nazardine Imanov. He was kind of getting the best of him. But I don't know. Sean Strickland's like that. Sometimes if you really want to scrap, Sean Strickland's got the power in his hands. If he hits you once, that's it. Other news. If I don't got anything else, I believe that will that will be it for the main event today. I don't know, some stuff with I don't know about the Paul brothers. See, everything that I'm seeing right now is all about Tyson Fury offers to fight both UFC star John Jones and Tyson Fury. Okay, that's from Low Kick MMA. Tyson Fury confirms got an offer from UFC. So I guess he's saying he did get the offer, which I don't know. From what I've been hearing, everybody's been saying it's true. It's damn true. Other news. Oh yeah, so I believe I already talked about it though. Dana White came out with one of those videos. He was like, "It's Friday" or this and that, and he announces a whole bunch of fucking fights, which one of them was Corey versus. So I just realized I did talk about it. But yeah, I believe that's going to be it for today. No, Michael Jordan. I don't remember you from middle school. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for watching, y'all. Folks, have